Hello everyone, and especially you Capcom. So I just came across a forum post that Capcom admin had posted about the rumored Resident Evil 2 remake. So I just thought I would go ahead and read it for you, and here it goes. So, greetings Resident Evil fans. It came to our attention that for a long time after the huge success that was the remake of the original Resident Evil, and that you would like to see the sequels get the same treatment. After much discussion, we began to seriously consider it, but due to a lot of reasons, including ones that we had no control in the past years, we need to make sure the game will get enough support to be successful. So we have been trying to find ways to make the Resident Evil 2 remake possible by giving you some ways to show us your support. Here are some good ways to support the remaking of Resident Evil 2. And then there's a list of bullet points. Buy a copy of Resident Evil 6 and help us reach 5 million sales in the first month. Okay, no. I'll tell you why I will not buy Resident Evil 6. For one, it doesn't appeal to me. I don't see the old Resident Evil soul in this game. What I see is a game that is more geared towards the lowest common denominator, ADD, action fans, like the Call of Duty type people. You have been quoted saying that you want the Call of Duty gamers, you want the Call of Duty cash, so you hoard out the Resident Evil franchise. You just crammed it with so much action, you forgot the Resident Evil. You forgot how to set the atmosphere. You forgot how to build the tension. You forgot how to be suspenseful. You forgot the real scares. You made a Me Too action third-person shooter, and this is why I do not want Resident Evil 6. Because Resident Evil 5 was already falling downhill. It was falling into that path. And Resident Evil 6, it just kept falling even further. So, I'm not going to buy Resident Evil 6. I have no interest for it. And I also never thought that I'd see a mainstay Resident Evil get something like a 3.0 on Destructoid.com or get a 4.5 on GameSpot.com. That's really, really low. And that all is attributed to your crap business decisions on how you wanted to direct the series for more money. And I'm sorry, I just cannot support that. So, next bullet point, pre-order DMC Devil May Cry and help us reach 2 million pre-orders before January. I'm not going to do that either, because I don't necessarily like the way that the DMC Devil May Cry series has been relaunched, and I'm not too big on the character and how he doesn't really resemble the Dante that I know. So, I'm not going to be doing that either. Next bullet point is buy a copy of Street Fighter X Tekken. Fuck no. You gotta be shitting me. You're asking people to buy Street Fighter X Tekken or Cross Tekken after the whole debacle about all the DLC characters being on the disc and then unlocking them like 5 months later for like $20? Are you fucking nuts? Don't ask that from your fans. God, it's like kicking us in the nuts. Anyway, the next bullet point is buy a copy of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and or some alternate costumes for this amazing game. Okay, well, I'm not really a fan of Marvel vs. Capcom, so I'm not going to buy that game. And even if I had bought the game, or even if I was going to buy the game, I would not pay for any alternate costumes. Why should I pay for a color swap? What happened to playing a game and unlocking it by like beating the game with the character and getting an extra costume, or beating the game on extra hard and unlocking other costumes or whatever? Why should I have to pay for color swaps? I mean, come on, man. You kicked me in the right nut with asking me to buy Street Fighter X Tekken, or you might as well kick me in the left nut for wanting to buy some fucking color swaps. Jesus. Make a video on YouTube with all of you showing us a $10 bill and get at least 100,000 views. Okay, well, I'm not going to do that because, for one, I'm not going to show you any of my money. For two, I'm not that popular on YouTube, so you probably won't even see 1,000 views. But, yeah, so if you want me to show you the money, if you want me to be Cuba Gooding Jr. and Jerry Maguire, make the Resident Evil 2 remake, and I'll show you my money. It's that simple. Next bullet point, make a video on YouTube telling us why we should remake Resident Evil 2. Okay, this one I can actually answer. Because the Resident Evil remake for the GameCube was fantastic. It did everything that a remake should do. It improved the graphics, it improved the gameplay, it added so much more content. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful on the GameCube, and it actually did pretty well. It sold, because you guys really did an awesome job on it. So, If you ask any respectable RE fan, they're going to tell you that the Resident Evil 2 was probably the best pinnacle of the series, outside of maybe Resident Evil 4 Wii Edition. But so if you go ahead and give Resident Evil 2 the same treatment, and I mean the same quality treatment, leave out all that Resident Evil 5 and 6 shit, but redo it right, like you did with the first Resident Evil remake, you're gonna have a winner on your hands, guaranteed. Then the last bullet point is make a video on YouTube showing us what you are capable of doing to convince us of remaking Resident Evil 2. Well, I'm not too sure exactly what you're asking. Am I supposed to stand on a ball and juggle dishes and I don't know, balance spoons on my nose or something like that? I mean, I'm not going to do any parlor tricks for you. This is what I'm going to do for you. This is what I'm capable of. You make the game. You make the Resident Evil 2 remake, quality edition, and I'll buy it. That's simple. I'll whip out my plastic credit card. I'll slide it through that slot. $60. Yours. That's all you got to do. Plain and simple. Can't be much easier than that, can it, Capcom? Now get to fucking work. Thanks.